B-Ball 3710, thoughts on oil prices next 6 months, 2 to 3 years. There's so many variables. Like, if we go into World War, oil prices are going to fly. That's just what happens because, risk, right? If we get a direct hit to like some Gulf oil offshore rigs, prices go up. But if the economy falls through the floor and we actually have another global financial crisis, oil prices will fall right with them. Demand plummets. And we'll be looking at like $1.25 for gasoline again. So I guess it all depends upon, will Russia be dumb enough to bring Belarus into this thing? Is China dumb enough to join them? And does the plunger protection team stop doing their job and allow the market correction to happen? Those are all the factors that will come into play as for oil prices. Plus, if shorts run out of things to short, they'll turn to commodities next. They'll short the hell out of oil and do the manipulation to drop the prices of that so they can make a fortune off of it. Oil is one of the most manipulated commodities out there. They love to move it around and just screw with the whole market. G-Font, have you read the Fed minutes? I've not read the minutes. I saw a brief description, and there was something that came out about the stress test done on banks, and J.P. Morgan, Goldman Sachs, Bank of America, Wells Fargo, all failed miserably across all three categories, and a Credit Suisse as well. They did terrible. There were a couple of banks that passed because they do not play the markets. They do not lend to hedge funds. They do not give subprime loans. So there's a couple of banks in there that did really well. I wonder if we can find that list again. It was on Twitter. Stress test results banks. Nope, that's from a year ago. Dodd-Frank test results. News. Here we go. This is from a day ago. Show me. You did not show me. Released. Press release. Here we go. That's what we're looking at. Okay, so this is stress tests, hypothetical scenarios for 2023 bank stress tests. You can see we've got subject to global market shock, subject to counterparty default, subject to exploratory market shock. Bank of America. Bank of New York does bad in those two. Barclays does bad in these two. BMO, Capital One, Charles Schwab, fine. Citigroup. Citizens Financial Bank, fine. Credit Suisse, they do okay in exploratory. All right. DBUSA, two bad ones. Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan, Morgan Stanley, Wells Fargo. State Street does bad in a couple also, but the good ones, the banks that seem to they won't go under in the next financial crisis: BMO, Capital One, Charles Schwab, Citizens Bank, M&T Bank Corporation, Northern Trust, PNC, RBC, Royal Bank Canada and U.S., TD Ameritrade in the U.S. That's interesting. Truist Financial Corporation, UBS, and U.S. Bank Corp. So everyone else is probably going to be shitting the bed when the economy shits the bed. So yeah, I'll put the link into the chat so you guys can look at it for yourself. Yeah. So the ones that we assume are going to do bad, looks like they're going to do bad. Like what we've been saying, Wells Fargo, Bank of America, no way. We have all sorts of grumblings about losses for Credit Suisse, losses for Goldman Sachs. JP Morgan is like trying to leave the DTC because they form their own clearing corporation, so they don't have to like deal with that crap. But they've got 4,000, 5,000 hedge funds under them. They've lent like trillions of dollars in margin to. If this goes under, they go under. They're toast. So that's just the way it is, man. Phil Clayton, we'll do one more. Phil Clayton, morning, Houston. At the start of this, did you envisage how corrupt the market and everything is? No, I don't think anyone really had peeled back those layers on a mass scale like now. I mean, we always knew that, you know, that you got your Madoffs and your Ponzi's and your Michael Milkins and whatnot. But I don't think in the forefront of everyone's brains was the fact that this is just a giant organized crime ring. And this is the mafia. that's what they are, man. That's all this naked shorting is a crime ring, and they're all supporting each other in it. And eventually that crime ring is either going to implode or be forced to stop doing what they're doing. I just don't know when or how that's going to happen. And I didn't know to the extent at all before all this. I learned just as well as you folks did. And it's really interesting seeing, like, you know, the gaslighters that will pop up on Reddit or Twitter. And who was that one guy, Kabuki or whatever his name was, that decided to write that long thread about how, like, everyone MMTLP is wrong and there aren't any naked shorts. You guys are just full of shit. And no matter how much data we produce to show him that, you know, FTDs exist, therefore technically there are naked shorts, you'd be like, no. Like, okay, how can you have an FTD and it not be naked? It's a failure to deliver. It's someone sold something that didn't exist, and when it came time to, like, give that item they sold, they went, I'll have it. That is proof of naked shorting. So if you're going to come at me and say that I'm wrong to assume that there's naked shorting when I can show you proof of naked shorting, don't gaslight me, man. Like, I presented evidence, you presented nothing. So eat a big old bowl of dicks. Right? Okay.